We've all missed a 4-footer that feels like it cost us the round. So we go out later that week to practice our putting, but spend the majority of our time working from 15 feet. The problem is that your own stats say that that hour that you just spent might have actually made you worse at the thing that was the problem. Not because you practice too little, but because you're practicing the distances that don't actually matter. And I can prove it with a billion putts. Everything in this video comes from PGA Tour ShotLink, Arccos, ShotScope, and Mark Broadie's research. So this is all measured data. It's not some rando talking over your shoulder at the range. I've built a platform on helping people who have busy lives actually play better golf. I've helped people break 90 for the first time, break 80 for the first time, and cut their handicap in half. I've also watched people spend hundreds of dollars or spend tens of hours working towards something that didn't actually end up paying off. Because of all that, by the end of this video, you're going to know the 2 distances that are actually worth your time practicing and how to practice them. All these numbers I'm about to show you and so much more are in the comprehensive stats guide down below that talks through stats from 2 feet all the way to 300 yards for tour pros up through 20 handicaps. So go check that out if you're looking to find out the areas where you can improve. So without actually taking my camera out to a putting green, I've just been taking notes over the past 2 months. And let's walk through what most people do. You get to the green a few minutes before your round, you drop down 3 balls, maybe you hit a few 4-footers, and then you're going to roll a lot of maybe 10 to 20 footers and a few longer putts. But for the most part, you're going to spend the biggest chunk of those few minutes you have before a round in that 10 to 20 foot range. And while it feels like you should make a lot of those putts and you see a lot of people make them on TV and therefore they're important, in all reality, that's kind of the zone where your putting goes to die. Not because you're going to lose a ton there, but because it's really difficult to gain much there. When in reality, the average is that tour pros are a coin flip from 8 feet. And from 15 feet, we can cut that in half and go down to 23%. So every time that you see 1 or 2 made 15 footers on TV, there's another 8 to go along with it that were just whiffs. So not only are you building your expectations off of a highlight reel, you're also building your plan off of a highlight reel. Then you go grade yourself against this made up number in your head, and you practice that made up number on the putting green when it was never even realistic. You're not a bad putter in this zone. You're putting with a broken scoreboard. And if the pros barely make more putts than you do from this zone, then they've got to be so much better from somewhere else, right? So let's go find that. I want you to imagine 2 normal golfers on a practice putting green. They both got 30 minutes to putt, and golfer A rolls 15 footers the entire time. Golfer B splits his time in half and uses half of that time to putt inside of 6 feet and half of it to putt from outside of 30. They can both put in a ton of effort on the same green on the same day, but one is going to be significantly better prepared for the putts that they're going to see on the golf course. Golfer A may have gotten better at a putt that he's only going to make 13% of the time, whereas a tour pro will make it 23% of the time. So he spent half an hour polishing a putt that will almost never drop for anyone at any level. But golfer B got better at the important things. First, the short ones. From 5 feet, he might have made half. From 5 feet, he might average half. From 5 feet, he'll average 51% make rate if he's a 20 handicap. He'll make 60% if he's a 10 handicap. And a tour pro is going to make 77%. That's a massive gap that shows up a lot during a round of golf, either on second putts or on a good chip even is going to be at 5 feet. So if you move that 5-foot make rate from 50 to just 60%, because of the volume of putts that you have in that range during a round of golf, you're going to save yourself 2 or 3 shots. Second are the long ones. And in all honesty, this number changed how I practice for forever, and I really hope it does for you as well. From 40 feet and beyond, there is essentially no difference between you and a tour pro when it comes to making putts. Tour pros make 4%, you probably make 1.5%. The difference is that tour pros almost never 3-putt from that range. A 20 handicap will 3-putt from 30 plus feet 2, 3, or 4 times, whereas a tour pro will have 1 maybe every other round. And those 3-putts also start at different distances. The danger zone for a 20 handicap when it comes to 3-putting is just 16 feet, whereas a tour pro needs to start worrying about it at 33. Now, obviously, I don't expect you to become a tour pro putter, but I want you to see where the biggest gaps are and use those as leverage points, because these 2 zones are incredibly simple to practice. So let's think through these 3 distances. The short putts is where we win back shots. The lag putts is where we can really start losing them. And the 15 footer is kind of a nothing burger. You're not really in danger of three putting. You're not in danger of really making it. It's kind of just it is what it is. What I also think is difficult in this zone is a really, really good approach shot is hit to 15 feet. So then you feel like you're supposed to follow that up with a make. When in reality, you should take a make as a really big win, but the approach shot is where you gained all the shots on that hole. And if we picture that green as a big circle, inside of 6 feet is where we're going to start scoring. Outside of 30 feet, we should be practicing what we can control, which is speed and line. And between them is this big fat donut from 10 to 20 feet where nobody's really going to make a lot. So we just need to kind of let the ball go in the hole and not really worry about practicing it if we don't have that much time. And really, even if you do have that much time, the 10 to 20 foot range will kind of take care of itself if you practice those longer lag putts, because you do still have to read the last 10 to 20 feet of that putt. So if you are lean on time, there is no reason to fatten it up by practicing in the donut. Don't build your time around a putt that not only are you not going to make that often, but that you're probably not going to have that often. Practicing in that donut doesn't necessarily make you make more of those putts, but if you practice outside of it, you'll just get better at those putts anyway, because it's all speed control and reading, which you're getting from those longer lag putts. But you won't get better at those longer lag putts by practicing from 10 to 20 feet. So here's our 15-minute routine. It's 3 blocks, and you're never going to step foot in that donut unless you're walking through it. Block 1 is the donut hole. We're going to put 5 balls in a circle from 3 to 6 feet, and we're going to work around that circle, never hitting the same putt 2 times in a row, and every single putt's going to break a little bit differently. Track your makes out of 10, and once you go through that first bunch, keep note of that and just try to keep beating it. Write down your notes app and just go back and look at it every week and keep a high score. This is something that's made it really fun for me. I used to hate practicing putting until I started tracking it, and now I have so much fun trying to beat my younger self. Block 2 is going to be 7 minutes, and this is going to be a lag ladder from outside the donut. I like using a towel and setting it at the edge of the green and going from 30, 40, and 50 feet. And you can do this a couple times. If you've got the time, have one go a little downhill and one go a little uphill. Anything that stops within 3 feet of your center target, or if you're using the towel, anything that stops on the towel, that's going to be a point. And once again, keep track of your high score and try to beat it every week. You're simply chasing just getting it close, not making it, because ultimately, even the pros don't make these. Finally, we're going to spend 3 minutes back inside the donut hole trying to get some pressure on those shorter putts. Because these shorter putts are all about reading the correct line and then committing to it and hitting that line, we're going to make 5 4-footers in a row from different spots. This is one that anyone at any handicap level can do, and it's going to make you better right before you step on that first tee, so you get all the nerves out before you get up there. Ultimately, what we're trying to do in these 15 minutes is train you to understand the shot you're supposed to hit and then pull it off the first time, because ultimately, that's the most important skill to have in order to play better golf. And if you don't want to think about any of this, or you don't want to keep the highlights in your notes app, you can download the Play Ready Golf app. It's going to be down below. There'll be a little demonstration going on next to me right here. You can completely change your game in 6 months by using intentional, random practice and progressively overloading it. All that means is we're being intentional about what we're doing. We're using random practice to train our bodies and our brains to perform the task right the first time. And then we're just making it harder over time. And you can get all that within that app there. There's demonstrations on every single drill of me doing the actual drill. And it just takes 30 seconds a hole to get full strokes gain data. And if you're still watching at this point, you've earned code Isaak, I-S-A-A-K. It's going to get you $20 off an annual subscription every single year, and you can get 7 free days if you just click down below. Now, whether you're going to play tonight, tomorrow, or next week, eventually you're gonna miss a 4-footer. I know I am. So the difference isn't necessarily going to be in how you putt the next time you go out. Ultimately, you haven't gotten better at putting by just watching this video. But what you have gotten better at is understanding how you're supposed to practice so you can putt better. And improvement is not going to be a straight line. It's not linear. You are going to have ups and downs. But ultimately, I want you to look at the trend over the next 6 months. And I promise you will get better if you practice like this. Now, if this putting data surprised you, just wait until you find out about what's been going on at the driving range for the past 100 years. That video is right here, and it's the reason the overwhelming majority of people have subscribed to this channel.